welcome to the Games Revealed podcast brought to you by Bunny Strike Studios. This is James.
And this is Tyson, Diamond Hands Tyson. Still diamond, still hands.
Till you lose your hand like a certain someone we know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like call options. They'll screw you every time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's that too. So the game of the month, and this is into another month, but is Days Gone.
Yeah, we kind of went a little long on this one. A couple of days gone by. But
it's an easy one to get lost in.
It's the best I could do.
It's an easy one to get lost into. So, like, I can't blame anyone. You know, if you, like, leave comments and stuff if you did the same, because this game is very easy to get sucked into.
Oh, I freaking looted the first area like 3 times over in just trying to kill hordes. Question marks are like my number one kryptonite, and so like immediately I see kryptonites and hordes and everything like that, so I just want to get to them. And yeah, I was not very time wise in my gameplay here. Probably already put more than 30 or 40 hours in, and I feel like I got nothing done.
Yeah, you got more time than me, and I feel like I put 30 hours into this thing.
Well, I do feel like I got a lot done, because I've got like 3 maxed out skill trees right now.
You got them all maxed out?
Just about. I have one more that needs like 1 more point in it, and then I'm like perfect and everything. But yeah, all 3 in the ends are maxed.
Yeah, you're definitely farther than me on that skill point stuff. But I have all 3 of them unlocked to the point, and now I'm just upgrading the last. I think I have like 4 more points I really care about, and the rest of them like just will be whatever, because I don't use the focus that much. I do use it, but
you're nuts.
I only use it. This is how it is in most games. I don't do this, like even in Fallout, I don't do the slow motion stuff too much unless I'm in a really hard battle. Then that's where I use it, because I don't need assistance in killing things. I don't need some assisted aiming bot.
He's never been chased by the horde from the barn or the wood mill.
Oh, I have.
The lumber yard.
I killed them, and then I came back and they were still there, and I was like, what?
Yeah, they never stop.
Yeah, that was that's what makes this game fun, is the hordes, man.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love the hordes.
And I also love the glitches on this.
There is quite a few glitches, but none of them too bad.
No, nothing game breaking. Some people, if the Mass Effect stuff kind of bothered you, like not the first Mass Effect one, because that was sometimes game breaking. Andromeda though, like if that type of stuff might bother you, then some of those stuff I hit might, because at one point in Iron Mike's cabin, you can't see the floor. The floor is never there. I loaded up, whatever, never there. So it's just like they're floating, and I have pictures of this.
Yeah, that's a camp upgrade. Once you unlock it, it's for transparency. There are no secrets at Iron Mike's camp.
Pretty much, it's transparent apparently.
Yes, exactly.
And like you go in the basement and you can see up, and it's a little pervy, and
he likes looking at Iron Mike from that view.
He looks, yeah, exactly. And then there's like, I'll be just shooting some guys, and one will try to jump off a tree house, and they'll just launch up in the air like 100 feet. And come back down. They don't die though. I was like, oh, awesome. They're gonna die. Sweet.
Ninjas.
Nope, they don't. And then it's weird stuff where someone's bike, I think, just shot up in the air once. They were chasing them.
That's like freaking cyberpunk stuff.
It is. It actually is. Like, and the thing is, from my understanding, this game actually had a lot more bugs when it first came out. Some game breaking. Actually, I heard that like a save could get bricked. So I'm glad that we're playing it now and not back then.
Yeah.
Because there were some game breaking bugs, but I'll be honest, like it feels very polished. And in open world games, you know, you're always going to have some issues. It's not like a Bethesda issue, but you know, they're there. They're fun.
Most of my stuff was just getting on the bike or picking the bike up. Like if I picked it up, sometimes I would go sideways, like and be just straight horizontal in the air, and I'm just like pushing the bike up, and then I get it up, and then everything readjusts. Or you shoot things like deer, or sometimes it was people, but deer, they never jumped as high as those things did, but they'd always like do the death spring sometimes where they die, and then the animation would launch them. But it would only be like, I don't know, 8 feet in the air or something like that. But
I think there's some issues with their animation system. But you know the dogs where the Rippers are killing the dogs, and you have to with Boozer. Yeah, all the dogs will die, but then they're fur. So they have a fur shader that doesn't go away. So when the dog dies, it's dead on the floor, but then the shader is in the form of a dog just above it.
Oh, I've never seen that.
I got pictures of that one too, and it's so weird because you're just like, this is a sad moment, but like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, like fix your shit. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's animation. I think they just have most of the stuff I've had issues with is character stuff, and it's just like probably could fix a couple. Like if they do when they do the Days Gone 2, hopefully they fix some of those issues.
Yeah, are they doing Days Gone 2? Do we know that?
I think it's unconfirmed, but heavily rumored. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard a lot of rumors about it, but I haven't read anything that's for sure.
I think the Resurgence and like this sleeper hit kind of did a really good job, and like coming out on PC really was a good success for them.
Yeah.
So
and being free on PS Plus or being a game on PS Plus.
Yes, that also probably helped a lot too.
Yeah.
But no, it's we'll probably have to wait a long time, just like how long this game is.
Oh yeah, at least 900 plus days gone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, it's like I drifted so long in this game. Like I felt like a real drifter because 30 hours went by with zero to show except for a bunch of side missions and question marks marked off.
Yeah, but that set me up for like an easy peasy run through on the game. Like having done that and explored everything, I was actually able to fast travel quite a bit because I was like, oh, I've literally explored this whole place, nailed all the Nero shit really fast, and just had it wide open explored.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to talk to you about the Nero stuff later because there's a couple I can't get to.
You need to upgrade that bike. Nitrous,
that could be it.
Gotta jump them gaps.
But yeah, and the bike is awesome too. Like
I love it.
And they did a pretty good mechanic. It's obviously very arcadey still because you wouldn't really be able to maneuver some of those.
Oh yes, you would. I don't know.
Okay, you have a motorcycle. Let's go give this a try after this. We'll figure that out.
I've done a couple of things like that. I don't know. I will say I feel like they did a pretty dang good job on the bikes.
Oh no, I love the type they went with because if they would have gone too realistic, it just annoys the crap out of me with this type of stuff. But I like the balance, and there is a lot of balances because there's a lot of times where it's not too realistic in the game, but they did it because it just would suck to play it. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they did a good job of making the bike like such a necessity. Like you use it all of the time, and it really does. And as someone who has driven bikes for quite a long time, I understand it, and it's something that I really just enjoyed about it. And so some people might not have liked the reliance on your bike, or sometimes being too far to start things. That was annoying. But I think they did such a good job, like even making this more of a connection than Roach or something in that way where you need a method of transportation to get around. To me, it was perfect.
This is essentially the extension of your character. You could not have your character without this bike.
Yeah,
that's how much of an extension it was, and that's good because that's just who you are in this game.
Yep,
you're a biker.
Yep.
Through and through.
Yep, all the way to the point where you're wearing your cut years into the end of the world where your bike club hasn't even existed forever. And they even talk about that. They talk about like, why are we wearing it? And it's like, habit. I don't know, because why does it matter? Like, it's my clothes. It's part of me. So. And
he does care enough though, because at the end of the Rippers section, he gets it back. He's like, I'm gonna get this back, and he hunts the guy down.
Yeah, he got all of his gear. He could have escaped out of there real quick, but he hunted that sucker down, and I'd have done the same thing. No stinking Rippers gonna wear my cut.
Well, it would have been drowned anyways. You could have found it in the drownedness.
That's true, but then you got mold issues with that leather, and you don't want to have any issues with that.
With how much he sweats and how much he gets rained on, I don't know. This game rains a lot, like especially in the beginning part.
Rains and snows and the weather. The weather by far is awesome. Yeah. How it affects your vehicle, the snow, like as you're running through it, and it's just caking onto your legs. Like it's awesome. As far as nailing all of the hit points for like as realistic as you could get in this game. I think they nailed it. Like,
they really, you could definitely tell where their focus point was in certain areas, and they really killed it.
Yeah,
because the weather and the environment, they did such a good job.
And they didn't make it tedious, like you got cold and you had to warm up or things like that. No, you just got to experience it.
Yes.
And obviously, it's like, where's his gloves? He's freaking freezing ass out there. Why is he riding with? Yeah, who cares? To a point, you got to just let certain things go so you can enjoy what they're trying to give you and not make it so realistic that you really feel the day-to-day, minute-to-minute burden of some of those things. So really awesome.
I agree with that.
Really
some
awesome.
games would work well with having a weather effect like that, but this one would just kind of, I think it would have killed some of the illusion that you get, and I like that because you're badass biker.
Oh yeah.
Don't need to be worrying about huddling in a fort every 10 seconds, to warm up.
Yeah. Oh, like my hell.
7 days to die.
Yeah, that would be very, very annoying. That would have added so many more hours onto this game, and maybe that's why they thought about it, and they're like, no, cut that shit, because that would have, holy cow. I think we looked it up. It was like a 36-hour at the lowest time frame to beat it, and that's probably if you just focus it and don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
And that's not what I did, and I don't think that's what James did. And holy hell, that would have added just so much time.
Well, and the problem with that is that I'd run out of the main story, and you have to wait a little bit to get it. So I just go do side quests anyways. I had to do side quests up to where I'm at now, where I have a bunch. But I do feel like I just don't know how you'd be able to rush. I really don't understand how you'd be able to rush through this.
And you know something, maybe that's the issue with, I do have some complaints about this with the missions and their incoming frequency. Not to detract from your point, but I'm going to detract from your point.
Do it.
I do have some issues with those, and maybe that would have fixed it. Is I did all the side missions. I did every side mission, and so then I'd go do the main mission, get done with the main mission, there'd be nothing available, and I'd have nothing. So then I'd go and ride out of the gate, and then I'd get a mission immediately from like Ricky, and I'd be leaving her camp, and right outside the gate, hey, got a job for you, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And that's literally been my entire gameplay. I'll leave the camp, and then a million things start coming in, and maybe that's why. Maybe because I went and just ground out every side thing possible to where there was nothing, and so it was waiting for that main mission to get done to give you more.
And certain missions will do that too. Ugh. Certain missions you have to complete it before you get additional. But I'm like, if there's side there's some issues with that where I don't feel like I could have rushed through this game too much quicker. I think I didn't do as many side things as you.
Oh, I definitely could have. I definitely could chop off some hours off of my gameplay. I probably could have
cut off maybe 5 hours, maybe.
I could probably do 10. I did so much cruising. I did so much cruising. You guys don't understand. I love this game. I love it. I love it.
You gonna get it for your deck, your Steam Deck?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely have it for that. This is like my new own it for everything. Like, especially if there is a portable version. If I had a Steam Deck, once I have a Steam Deck, I will have this game for it, and it will be. I'll cruise while I'm riding B behind James, and I'll just be playing.
That would actually, you're like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to ride the real thing. I got mine back here.
Yeah. So with the missions, that was a little annoying, but there were times where like you would save, and this is something that happens after you make the long trip after, but I won't really talk about the specifics. Is I saved somebody, radio in, hey, I saved them, they're coming back. And then they're like, all right, cool. And then he's like, I'll radio in later to see how they are. And then I took 3 steps, and then he's like, hey, did they make it in? Yep, they made it in just fine.
And you look over, you're still staring at him.
Yeah, and it's just like, but no, like that type of stuff happened quite a lot. So I don't understand what their triggers were for triggering off some of these conversations. I do have a lot of issues with that as far as like what was triggering a lot of this stuff, because on a time frame that makes sense, it just doesn't. On the frequencies of these communications and the quickness of them, just a little rushed. But again, maybe it was because I was rushing through a lot of things, and it was keeping track of the side missions and how I don't know. Either way, you guys shouldn't have done it that way.
I do wish the side missions, a lot of them, especially like from camps specifically, that are like, you know, truly side missions where you have to go bounty hunt. I wish like the bounty hunter one was just, oh, like you just always have to do the next one. You can just do the next one whenever you want. Because it's just bounty hunting, right?
Yeah, but the way they staggered it, I think it was like, oh, they came back into town. Like, because they don't just know where they all are. And again, part of the realism that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I do get what, like a list, a chain that you can just chop your way down, doing
and stuff like that.
And it can be cut off on it or something like that.
Well, it can be cut off at a certain point, but like I felt like I'd do a side mission for them, and then I wouldn't get anything for a long time. Where I'm like, wish I could have done 3 of theirs side missions. Like,
well, because they
go do it and then come back, do it and come back. I would be fine even doing that. Yeah. But sometimes I wouldn't get a side mission from the other, like from multiple camps for a long time.
Yeah.
But.
And again, weird triggers on that. But as far as the bounties go, I will say that is the one thing that I agree with. Because roaming through, hey, we saw him cruising, getting gas. Oh, shit, I'll chase him down. And then you go to the point and he's still there getting gas.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll... Yeah, it's really interesting. And I do like the game. And it's not really like they did it the way they did it. It's just... it makes it feel like it just takes longer to get through the game if you want to do a quick playthrough.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so, but I will say the different camps. So we're doing the first part of this. We're not doing, like, we haven't completely beat the game yet. And there's 3 camps in the beginning area. And it's Copland, Tucker, and Iron Mike, right?
Yeah.
Camps. And they're all very different in the way they think, their philosophy. I really love that because that's probably how it would be. If you had an end of the world kind of event like this, I feel like you would have different camps with different philosophies, and because everyone wants to do things differently.
Yeah.
Like, you got Tucker, who's a piece of shit.
Yeah, she's a nasty
essentially
piece of shit.
Just works her people to death with guns, and they beat them up, and I'm like, it's just like, I mean, maybe it has to be that way. I don't know, but Copland, who's, you know, just, he's out there, but he seems to care about his people.
Yeah, he's a weird guy. He's an extremist, in my opinion.
He is a very weird guy, but he still does right by his people, where I feel like Tucker doesn't.
No, yeah, Tucker is just there selfishly. Hers is like a communist dictatorship or something.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just rough watching going into there, and like I never recommended anyone to camp. And when you took Lisa there, I was just like, ugh, why?
I do like how we handled Lisa with her though afterwards.
Yeah, but the way that she knew her, I was like, all right, she'll treat her nice. She'll be like one of the inside people, you know, not beat to hell. And she just got beat to hell there, and it was just like, well, she'll run away eventually, and sure enough, she did. So yeah, she's a piece of crap. Copeland's crazy. Iron Mike's got too much faith in treaties.
He had too much trauma in the past is really what it feels like, and he just didn't want to re-experience that. And that's why I get his character. Drastically disagree. Just on the extreme, there's always extreme people, and Rippers is one of them, where it's like you just got to handle them.
Yeah, and I get his point too, where he's like, it's everyone versus the freakers. And it's freakers versus everyone. He's like, so it doesn't matter if you're a Ripper or a bandit or whatever, like, it's us against them, in a way that if we don't maintain humanity and keep people alive,
there's no point.
Yeah, because that's what his whole thing was, is like, there are times where I wish I died over there. And he's like, why? And when he's praying, he's like, what is this all for?
Yeah.
And so he knows that this struggle is for something, but he just, obviously he doesn't know what it is, and he's hoping that it's worth it. You know, it's hoping that mankind somewhere down the line is going to recoup and regain the world, and he's just hoping. Too much faith, Iron Mike.
That's up to you.
Not that he was praying or anything like that, but he believed in the treaty with Carlos, and that's like, gosh. Come on, buddy, you're gonna believe in that psycho and those people?
Well,
like coming
and they worship the freakers.
Yeah,
they are essentially, they act like the freakers at times. Where I was like, going into their area was a cool section of the game.
Yeah, it was,
because it freshened it up. Like, I finally get to see something a little different, and it made me feel a little bit of Fallout, because Fallout has some really weird factions, right?
Yeah.
And this made me feel like, I'm like, okay, cool. It's not like this camp that has a slightly different opinion. This camp, I mean, they're pretty big differences, but like then you actually get to see the Rippers.
Yeah. Straight up cannibals. And then when they're torturing people and stuff like that, and you just like, oh my gosh,
they're worse than the Freakers in my opinion.
Awful. They are worse. And
that's why I think the treaty is garbage.
Iron Mike, you're an idiot. Even though you don't exist. That's how real these people are. Like, this doesn't feel like it was just NPCs and like a gopher assignment and one-sided where everyone just loves the protagonist and does everything for the protagonist. It's a give and take. Like, there's totally two sides of the world, and I totally look at Iron Mike and all those people as real people because of how they interacted with you. Your shit is not the only important thing. Like, I've got this. It made you feel they were all very real people. And Iron Mike, you're wrong! You're wrong, and that's all there is to it. That treaty was always going to fail.
That's like everyone says that except for Iron Mike.
I know, only Iron Mike thinks it's going to work. But.
And in the end, it failed by self-prophecy. But
yeah, Deacon is kind of a Calvin ball of sorts. He does whatever he wants.
St. John.
Oh, did I call him John?
No, St. John.
Oh, St. John. Deacon? Yeah.
He's a saint.
Oh, I thought I called him John in my rant.
So with with all that, it's just different philosophies. Love it. And it really comes out. I mean, you don't... Tucker... Actually, to be honest, you don't get a lot of Tucker, which is fine. I'm actually okay that they didn't have her talking all the time about everything.
Except I wanted those weapons.
Oh, I agree, and that's why I'm almost level 3 there, and I'm almost level 3 at all the places, because I want... Copland I don't care about, it's just happening. Because I have enough side missions, it's just going to happen. I'm going to hit 3. And so it's just... And plus, completionist kind of thing, you're like, you want to hit that 3rd level of trust. But Copland at least has some more level because he'll come out on the air of the radio, and then, Deacon will always be like, well, "That's your opinion on that."
What a piece of shit! Why am I getting those clear out here? Oh, that was after the midway point.
But I do like that. I do like while you're cruising, you can talk. I love getting story completion through cruising through the world. It is so satisfying. It needs to be done more because. It's just you're able to do 2 things. I like being able to do 2 things. I don't want to sit there and listen to them talk and stare at me for like 5 minutes when I could be cruising to the location I need to be. Because in this fast travel, we'll eat up a lot more gas. If you don't fast travel there, you'll eat up less gas, and sometimes that's a good thing because when you're trying to get weapons or whatever, and you just want to get them quicker, I don't fast travel. Usually I do, but sometimes I don't.
Yeah, I'll fast travel if I'm stocked up on everything. I realized that way too late that there just wasn't a ton to loot. Even though you could just go through and kill and loot, you're still not like acquiring anything, so it's really pointless. So I learned eventually to kind of let go off of the loot and only travel when I needed to, or travel when I was hoping to hit like a survivor to send to a camp to try and increase trust or something like that. But eventually I just started fast traveling everywhere. Paying for everything. Paying for repairs, buying gas. It got to a point where I wouldn't even I put a lot of miles on the bike, and then I stopped. So then I'm going to do this the easy way.
I'd map out the gas station, so if there's a gas station on the way, I'll just stop by the gas station. Yep. Or I'll do a fast travel by the gas station, then fast travel the rest of the way.
Yep.
You save a lot of money that way.
Yes, you do.
As you get later into the game, there's points where in the camps, I'm like, I bought everything. Like in the Copland's camp.
Suppressors, always buying a new one.
I just don't...
You feel like you're always loaded with cash.
I know. To
a point.
In some of the camps, in my Iron Mikes, I don't feel like it. But in the other ones, I do, and so I'm like, I just get a bunch of gas, with it. But definitely in the early parts, like repairing the bike's so expensive for your parts because the extra parts goes to your melee. And I love using my melees that are like upgraded, the baseball bat with the saw blade stuff like that. I actually really like those.
That one's the best one until you get the
durability. Yeah, exactly. But the durability is just you can kill probably like 10 people with it, and then you have to repair your bat.
Yeah,
it's kind of annoying, and then like the spare parts to repair it's like 8 or 9.
I think you can get skills that reduce
you
it
do
or something like that.
I don't know about reducing it. You get skills where you get double the spare parts, and then you get a skill to reduce repairing your bike.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like, okay, this isn't a big deal. I don't need
once,
the guy to repair it. I just can repair it now.
Oh, I have that guy repair it all the time. That way I've always got scrap for my weapons.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea because you also need to use scrap to make bolts and stuff like that. If you're
because and pipe bombs and everything. There are times where I'll repair the bike, and it does come in handy in clutch to have that skill because I won't repair it fully. I'll repair it to a point where I can drive it. But
you get shot off
comes in. Yeah,
if you get shot off the bike, you have to repair it because it's 0.
Yeah,
0%. If you get
dead
clotheslined.
eyes. Those snipers are freaking dead eyes.
Well, I'm always like, well, it's not on me right this second, so I'll try to zoom past. I'll go past the tree, and it still hits me. I'm like,
yeah, I always get hit by those.
You cannot ignore those.
I've never not missed a clothesline. I don't know why. Like, there's one time, the most recent time, I actually saw the clothesline, and I was like, oh shit, that's a clothesline, but trigger was still full gas.
You turboed into it.
I was like, that's what it looks like. Oh, it looks like, and then dead. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So I'm getting better at seeing those ones. Those are the ones that I'm not doing good on.
Does it kill you if you're going fast enough?
Oh, I've died every time.
Because I don't think I've ever died because I've always hit. There was one time I hit a rock before hitting. I'm like, well, that was nice. Because I was going down the mountain and I was going down through this thing. And it was. I've never died. I've been clotheslined and knocked off of it because I was going slow enough, luckily. But yeah, it's a cool part of the game, though. I really do think it's cool where you'll get ambushed by marauders and stuff like that. But one person that I don't think we've mentioned except for the very beginning to get us a little bit back on track is Boozer.
Yeah, Boozer's your guy. So you're riding with Boozer. It sets you up, I guess. Well, we don't really need to set it up because if you played the book club, then you played.
Yeah.
But it sets you up in this town where everything's going to shit. Your wife got stabbed by some kid. Boozer's there helping you. He's kind of jacked up. He's your buddy, your biker buddy. You guys get Sarah on a helicopter. She flies off. The world goes to shit, and then you're basically Deacon St. John trying to find Sarah this whole time. So that's kind of like the baseline of what's going on. Mm-hmm. Boozer's your buddy, and then you run to these 3 camps, do things, and then you deal with Nero as well, who gives you some tidbits on trying to find your wife or finding information about her, what camp she went to, any of that jazz. So Boozer, I really enjoyed Boozer to a point. He's kind of an asshole, but...
Yeah, that's one of those
that's
things.
What all these people are. Some of them are assholes.
Your relationship with him is interesting because it's definitely bro-ish, which it's not really bro. I don't know. It is
bro-ish.
I know, but like once I said that, I just was thinking like tech bros. Dude, bro, you doing it, bro? That's all I started thinking about. But no,
these guys
he's
are
like
these guys
he's your
are
brother. He's your brother is a better way to.
South Park bros.
Oh, they should have an Easter egg in there where he's just sitting there, just like.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
He goes around the camp.
But yeah, he is your bro.
He is your bro, and he's awesome. But what a stubborn asshole he can be in the beginning. I actually was starting to hate him a little bit because I'm like, dude, we need to get you fixed up.
Yeah.
You're gonna literally die. You almost shot me. Nah, man, I'm good.
Look at my head, it's fine. I went and cleared some traps. It's just like, oh my hell. Just with how stubborn and annoying he was being with that cooked arm. So we get ambushed, and these rippers burn off his tattoos on his arm, but just like cook his arm for some reason, and he gets a blood infection. It's just nasty. And you're just dealing with this asshole this whole time, where you're trying to get him a salve and stuff, and he's like, screw yourself. It's like, gosh, but you did.
He's like, man, screw this, all this. Here's I made something for you. It's in the box over there.
Hey, buddy, thanks for your help.
He does that a lot.
Stuff for you. Hey, thanks, bro.
Exactly. And then, like, the next minute, he's trying to blow your head off.
Yeah, freaking A. So they did make him annoying, but I will say, going to the part, so eventually I don't know, is this going too far? I'm going to talk about him unlocking Iron Mike's camp.
I mean, just one thing is that I wish he would have died at that one point in the tower. At one point, I was like, I'm done with this. I kind of hope you die off in the story, because if this continues like this, we're riding north. If I'm going to be doing 40 hours of this, we're riding north. I'm going to be
I'm glad it did wrap up into the way it did. Yes. Eventually we're gonna ride north, brother. So you get to a point, so your plan is to just get out of the area. You're done with the camps, you're done with Tucker, you're done with Copeland, you burned a bridge at Iron Mike's. So it's like, let's screw this, load up, supply up, fix the bikes, because your bike gets jacked up by Copeland, the dickbag. And then he tries to tear Boozer's bike later.
True, that does make him a big dick.
He's and I do
forget about that, because if it wasn't for that, like, oh, he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
But then he tries to, he knows your bike.
Oh yeah, and he knows.
So it's like,
I feel like he locked you in because he heard you were planning to ride north. I feel like the whole time he's just dicking you down. So anyway, you're doing these runs, trying to fix your bike. Your plan is to go north once you fix your bike enough. And then this happens to Boozer, and eventually you got to take him to Iron Mike's camp. It's a place with a doctor, and they tell you to just bring him in, because you try stealing from him, and they're just like, screw it, bring him. So you go get him, and this is just another one of those parts that I really liked that just made you feel like it was just like a real world scenario. So that motorcycle ride where Deacon St. John is talking about it, and he's like, people started running away, but no one could run fast enough, and someday we're all gonna die and nothing's gonna change that. But he's just going through, like, do you remember when everyone was leaving and everyone thought they could get out at the same time, but nobody realized how fast it came, and then it just freaking landed. That whole conversation was real, and there was a song playing called Soldier's Eyes that didn't start singing until that whole memory was over.
Oh yeah.
And that whole drive from your tower to Iron Mike's camp was badass. I loved it. I loved that entire thing. The music was just right, and it really just made you think that this was a world in which that existed, that was real, and like the other people mattered. So just another reason why it just pulled me in. And I have others with O'Brien and stuff like that, but I just really out of all of the games that wrap you into the story, this one did it the best. Better than The Last of Us, better than all of it, and it was this. And it was part of this ride over there that really unlocked it for me. So that's Boozer's one saving grace, is he does get better once you get him to Iron Mike's camp. He gets much
better, and in some ways he reverses down to being too soft, but, you know.
Well, he gets that dog, little bitch.
Yeah, who gets a dog? No, he doesn't get too soft. He still is a murdering, one-handed, one semi-short sword wielding person. But we do need to go into something that's really important. Ads.
Yeah.
Ads, and ads.
You got to know just how to do it yourself.
And we're back from the ads.
Oh man, what a great ad! I don't think I've ever heard that one before.
One day we'll do some self-promoting soon. So it's break it up a little bit.
Yeah, eventually we'll freaking change that. I say that, and then it takes like another couple of months for us to do it.
I know. Well, I feel like it took us like 6 months the last time. But so with Boozer's progression, like the story system in this is so cool. I really like the story system where you bring up the UI and you can see like how far you've unlocked. So like this is a whole arc of the game. Yeah. And I really kind of hope that games will go this way more. Even though it does make it annoying in certain terms of having to wait to complete something.
Yeah.
You're like, no, you probably can't complete most of the stuff until like halfway through or to the end, depending. And some you can, obviously, because they piggyback off another one. But I like it. I like it a lot. I really like it. It shows that like there's meaning into each arc in each area of the game. That's what it felt like to me.
No, I agree with you completely. As far as that goes, it's freaking great. We're talking a lot about the story and everything they did right there, but the mechanics, the UIs, and then the progression system, really badass. I love everything. The survival wheel, all of it. I feel like this is perfect.
I will say, I'm kind of curious to see how this works on the PC, because I really kind of wish I would have... I struggle on the PS4. So PS5's freaking D-pad sucks. Because I'll always hit I'll hit the left button over, and then I'll angle it just right. up.
So where you kind of like...
I go into zoom, and so I'll zoom in all the time when I'm trying to run away and heal. You know, you're trying to do a lot of stuff at once, and so I'm like, I'll hit it. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, if you hit it with an upward motion, it'll activate the up. What were you thinking, Sony?
Yeah, it's bad because it got me killed a few times from hordes, and then and that's the only reason. Other than that, I like the controller setup and all that stuff. I just kind of wish I didn't have that issue.
Yeah, but, occasionally I'll hit a swipe and hit a map or something, but at least that pauses you. That pauses it. So not too bad. But I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah, so Steam Deck.
Yeah, I really wish I would have played this on PC a little bit, just for the performance, which I've never cared about anywhere else. I love The Witcher on Switch, for crying out loud, so performance isn't the biggest thing for me.
But when you're cruising, that matters.
I wanted that performance in this game because there was enough lag throughout some of those high-speed motorcycle moments, which again aren't super important to the game, to be honest, because it's just travel, but it would lag down just enough to where it would upset me. So
it's an immersion thing.
That's where PC, because I'm very immersed into this. Like I said on the post on the Reddit, this is literally cut down on a lot of real life mileage of my motorcycle because of what I got to do in this game, because it's so fun.
It's a good one for the winter.
I'll rant for... Yeah, you're right. Holy shit. Because I'm going to keep playing... Like, I plan to platinum this game. Yeah. I will platinum this game. I love it this much. And I have not loved a game this much in...
a long time. Ever.
Long time. A very long time. Especially with my recent stance on gaming and how much I've been gaming. I really like this game.
Yeah. And this game will be so good for Steam Deck. But the story progression system is awesome. Just wanted to end on that. But one of the stories that's like so weird is Schizo. And it's weird because you're like, at times you're like, buddy, you're not really buddy, because I swear Deacon's always kind of really annoyed with Schizo.
Yeah.
Schizo's just like bipolar in this. Shit. And it's a little on the nose, his name is. I'll just say that. Because when I saw him, I'm like, yeah, this guy's kind of a sleazeball or whatever, he's Schizo.
Yeah. So it's a stupid name. It really is a stupid name.
It is a stupid name, but it also makes you like, it's just on the point. Like, you're like, this guy's going to betray me.
He is, but there are times in that story where he would be communicating to you, and it was just like, all right, I think I'm getting somewhere with this guy.
Yep.
But it really is. I think in the end, his main concern is always the safety of that camp, and that's where his dedication is too. And so if he sees you as this pawn to play, I didn't expect a betrayal to the Rippers, though. Yeah. I did not expect a betrayal to the Rippers. Like, that threw me off with how much he wanted to go over Mike's head to start a war and shit and kill these guys. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what would have ignited the war that would have started it all. But then Iron Mike negotiated a treaty. Stupid Iron Mike!
Yeah, in the end, Schizo, like, he was annoyed. I thought he was going to betray you at one point just because he was annoyed with you, or he wanted to overtake. I thought he was going to overtake Iron Mike. I really thought he was just going to do a coup d'etat kind of thing. But in the end, it threw me off because at the end, I'm like, they're getting all buddy. It was good. It was good storytelling because it did surprise me. I was always kind of expecting him to potentially betray you, but like I was like, oh, we're making way here. Then betrayed, and I'm like, I felt it, so it was good.
As soon as they got that debt cord and they had that conversation of like, what, you don't trust me anymore? And then he said, I do. He's like, I do trust you in a way that was real, and that's when I knew I was getting screwed. I knew at that moment, I was like, you're Frito, you son of a bitch. Godfather reference. And I knew I was getting screwed, but at no point did I more deeply believe that Schizo was my ally at that point at the same time. So the acting in this, some of it is a little weak, but I will say the emotions, the acting in the game from all of the characters, spot on. Do I always agree with them? No. But are they acting to who that character was perfectly? Absolutely. That's why I believe in Iron Mike is a too trusting douchebag. Schizo's a betraying piece of shit.
They got their types, and that's and luckily they don't. Yeah, and they hit the types without exposing it too much. So in like storytelling, you can like make it too typecast where it's like, it's too on the nose, and you're like, Schizo's name was, but like his whole character was still good though.
Yeah, it was awesome.
For Ricky little shit. And Addie are pretty. Like, I want to do little honorable mentions. I think they're pretty cool.
I thought that's how Schizo was gonna try and screw you. Is like you're in there getting fixed up by Ricky, and he like sneaks in, or like you see him like kind of observing, what's going on, and it's right at a pivotal moment of where she wants some of your deaconness. And he turns you down, so I thought he was going to create like, oh, they're in there sleeping together. Addie,
or he's just a peeping Tom, because it's mentioned earlier that he was like when Ricky and Addie were bathing,
taking baths.
He was peeping on
them. Yeah.
So maybe it's just a big peeper. He just goes around camp. Oh, what do you see over there?
Big nosing peeping Tom and busybody. So yeah, I thought relationship. It definitely feels like there was something that happened with Ricky and Deacon. Not happened, but like some type of emotional connection from Ricky to Deacon back when they rode together.
Oh, yeah.
Because he came here, and then they're with Addie, and then she tries to make a move on him, and then he shuts her down because he's still, Sarah! So, I can't cheat on my woman that I don't even know if is alive or not, which, surprise, she's alive. Spoiler for next episode. Anyway, but if you're in the book club, you should know this shit by now.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, so all of that. Addie, Ricky, honorable mention. I do feel like they had a really good relationship, and it did spark some things for St. John and Sarah memories, which are the worst.
Which ones are the worst?
All of the Sarah memories of him and his wife, they're all the worst.
I'm okay with it. It's just... It is I don't know. It'd be nice to skip it. I don't know. You could probably skip them.
You could skip them, but then you do miss a couple of pivotal points in some of them. Some of them you do. And then the walking is so slow in them. Anyway, that's besides the point.
So, like, all those characters, one that I was surprised that, like, came back and back, because I thought I'm like, this is such a plain character. This is weird, was Lisa.
You thought she was plain? I thought she was super traumatized and...
Well, in the beginning, I'm just saying, like, at points, she just doesn't, and she is traumatized. I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm like, this is interesting, but they did flare it in such a good way with Lisa. I really liked it. Like, in the beginning, you run into her, she's been living for, a year or two, like, just on her own, going to the water.
Since it all went down.
Which was, like, 2 years?
Yeah, it's been, like,
I think
2
it's 2
years,
or 3
like
years.
that.
And, yeah, she's going down to the water. She's living. She's surviving on her own, which I think Deacon did the right thing by taking her in and taking her to a spot, because eventually that is going to run out. It's just better to be in group typically, and so you take her to Tucker's place, and like she just gets screwed over there. She hates it, which I agree.
Yeah, I would hate it too.
And then she goes out on a mission with Tucker, and she gets captured and tortured.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, that sucks. I'm sorry. Let's take you to Iron Mike. And that's where you actually meet up with Ricky for the first time. And, that whole thing where you're like, Iron Mike's going to kill him. But I'm like, you're a pacifist, dude. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, Deacon's so worried that he's going to get killed by Iron Mike. But I'm like, dude, the guy's not going to kill anyone. Oh my God.
Oh, hummingbird, mockingbird.
That's like a freaking jet engine over there.
Yeah, sorry.
Smack the audience. And... that is one thing I guess I never noted, but I'm like, Iron Mike's threats, like, you take him too seriously, I feel like, because, like, would he?
No, I
he
don't
wouldn't
think
even kill
would.
Freaking Ripper.
No, he wouldn't even kill Schizo after he brought that whole shit show down on you.
Yeah. But Lisa ends up over there, right? And so...
Yeah.
And then goes out on another mission where I'm like, why don't you just work her in the farm? Let's stop sending her on missions. She doesn't do good on missions.
Well, she ran away on that one. She escaped on that one, and so you knew something bad was going to happen.
And then she gets caught again by the Rippers. And then... Then she's just like, I love the pain so much, I'm going to become a Ripper.
Yeah, well, she wanted to forget, and I get it.
Yeah.
But, man, her face all tore up like that. I was just like, F these Rippers, man. I hate those sons of bitches.
But it was cool because you didn't expect it. I didn't expect it.
I kind of expected it, but not in that way. I expected her to be a prisoner, but not like a Ripper.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, I didn't expect her to come to be the... Because I'm like, something's going to save you, right? Or because you're going to get out of this captured situation with the Rippers. She's the one that comes in. I really like that. That's where I'm like, okay, Lisa, you have an awesome arc.
Yeah.
Because before and all that, like, it wasn't bad. It was a good arc. It's just she wasn't like imprinted in my mind that I wanted to talk about her really. Maybe like briefly,
she definitely
but, like that was
dusted
awesome.
off. Yeah, it made you think that you were gonna build a relationship, and then she ran off, and then all of a sudden there she was as a Ripper, and then you guys, end up getting out of that whole situation. You save her again right at the very end of it all, and then she runs off, and to this moment, I don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, maybe we'll come, like, because I thought she was gone the last time she ran off. I thought we weren't going to see her again, but she came back, and so I'm like, maybe. But she gives you a hug before running off.
Yeah, and that was very emotional, because it was
exactly.
just like, yeah, like she started to feel again. As it felt like as a Ripper, she was just masking everything and like being a stupid teenage kid, like, no, this is how I have to do it.
And being broken beyond belief.
Yeah, and I'm sure experienced awful shit between the multiple kidnappings.
Yeah, that could include additional things that I don't want to mention. It's just, she's had a very traumatized life, and so it's like, that sucks. And that's what sucks about the end of the world kind of situations. It's not going to be pretty for most people.
Yeah, but it's nuts. Again, a great example of what brings you in and makes you feel as a person is listening to her story about how she's just survived and then watching it all progress through this awful, horrible, horrific display. I think it's why my wife says she's like, I wouldn't live in an apocalypse like that. She's like, I'd just kill myself. I'm like, why? But then you actually look at what the day-to-day is and think about what the day-to-day of that life is, and it's like, gosh, that would be a hard place to live, especially dealing with the worst of humankind. The Rippers.
Yeah, and pretty much what's going to probably happen, you're going to end up in a camp. All the people that you hated before in the city ends up in that camp that survived. You're like, well, everyone that survived, I'm mortal enemies with.
You're like, frickin' Jimmy from The Office? F you, Jimmy. You always lost my mail.
And so, yeah. And we've already mentioned the Rippers and stuff like that, but like how Carlos and the Rippers go down, that whole section is awesome. I actually haven't gone back. I want to go back and cruise it some more, because you can go back, right, and cruise their area.
I believe so.
Yeah. I haven't done it because I wanted to progress the story further, because I was taking too much time. But the way that we end Carlos, because it was actually someone that Deacon knows, which I thought was a little weird to throw that in there, but like, it is what it is.
Well, it makes sense why they're hunting you so bad,
yeah,
and why they're burning,
and
why they're burning things. Like his whole thing was to like let go of who you are, but that whole religion was based around his hate and his issues that he had in his own life, and burning away the tattoos and burning shit. It's just, he's a little salty bitch that created one of the worst cults I've ever seen in any game.
There's Silent Hill, and there's maybe one or two other ones I could think of that have like potentially worse cults in it, but this is like, oh gosh.
I would say for this one takes it the worst because it's the end of the world. I was gonna say Outlast 2 almost takes the cake, but that's a very secular, small part of the world. This is like world ending, and they have this massive group of just...
In the area, they have one of the biggest groups.
Oh, yeah, and that's what he's leading, so he's up there on my shit list of terrible people.
No, I can agree with that. He's high on a lot of stuff, but...
Yeah, and they let him know PCP, that's what all the Rippers are smoking, and everyone wants to rip in peace, and he's finally resting in the final resting place.
Well, they do such a good job, too, because you always see, like, like, puffs of smoke, and you're like, that's a detail that they didn't have to add, but they added.
Yeah, and then they start just dancing around and getting all freaking crazy, like they just lost themselves for a bit.
Yep.
So you basically, and that's the one thing that I don't know if we've wrapped up yet, is that freaking cave. The whole reason you go up there is to blow this cave up, right? You're sneaking in for the dynamite, you're sneaking in for the det cord, and you're gonna go blow this thing up, and you end up blowing up Carlos's place, but you get betrayed by Schizo, and that gets you basically on this revenge mission to go kill Carlos, because you escape Carlos with the help of Lisa, and you get back to town, and they're in this war, and they create a treaty where Carlos just leaves, and you and Boozer are like, not today. So you get the bombs and all that shit, you go in to blow them up, and really fun. This is where we got to go into that Ripper area, right, and experience it all and find Carlos, blow it up, flood the Ripper Valley with the dam water, the reservoir up in there. That's how you kill most of the Rippers, and then you go find Carlos. And some of the cutscenes, some of the transitions I have issues with, because you get a boost up into this area and you're just immediately getting kicked into the ribs. I find just quick cutscenes and stuff like that throughout this game are kind of breaking that realism, breaking that, what is that word?
Immersion,
yeah. So I do have issues with that, but it was a nice way to wrap him up. But in the end, after you kill Carlos, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like you just wiped out an entire people.
No, and I think I feel a little, not the opposite, but I feel very satisfied with that section, because if it would have been the end of the game, I would have been upset, I think.
Yeah, if that was the final wrap up.
So I thought that was going to be like, I didn't know how long this game was going to be. I thought that that at one point, I didn't think it was going to be the wrap up, but I think that and like finding out about Sarah potentially was going to be the end, with a ton of extra side quests that are going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen, but just seeing the river move into them, and then like, because you're seeing it from his perspective, so you're not getting any cutscenes. I like it because it's so tranquil, and like, you just snuffed out a ton of people.
Yeah.
And then, who's left is pretty much when you go down to go finish everyone off.
Yeah.
Is who's left.
And you will run into those camps, but I just wanted to see him suffer. I wanted that. And I didn't get it. But I understand it, but I wanted it.
No,
I want my cake, and I want to eat it.
I know you're like, the fight with Carlos was like that part was kind of weird.
Duck, stab, stab. Duck, stab, stab, stab. And he blows like PCP into your face, and you're all whacked out. That was a meh fight. I feel like that could have been so much better. Just let us duke it out, even in full on melee. But the way it went down was a little cheesy.
Well, yeah, it could have been better, but
yeah.
It's ended. You'll never see Carlos again, so you don't need to hide anymore.
Yeah, and he was a guy that rode with you in the Mongrels. So 3 Mongrels existed up to this point. And no, they kicked him out. They burned his back tattoo off. They kicked his ass out of the club. And then he held on to those grudges forever, and then burned you and Boozer's arm tattoos, and then you killed him. It just felt, I don't know, anticlimactic for that whole build up and everything like that. At one point I thought it was going to be Sarah as a leader of the Rippers, and that's why they were searching for you.
That would be hilarious.
I was hoping, because I was like, if that's how they end the game, it's got to be Sarah that's the leader. And then obviously, like, not want to kill you or anything, but like, she's got crazy Rippers. Of course, they're gonna burn you. Oh, sorry about that. Rippers be rippered. But yeah. God. So I thought that was nuts. The parts that I want to get into that bring into the realism of this is O'Brien and Nero.
Yeah, Nero is, I really like that part, and I've read certain things that are like, they're the bad guys, they're not, and everything's so gray in this that like, I think in part 2 we'll have a better formulation on who's bad guy and whatnot, but I don't really consider them bad. They kind of just do their own thing, and if you don't mess with them, you're going to be fine.
And they're definitely fragmented, which is what you learn from O'Brien, and they're like, some people don't have no idea what, like, everyone's doing their own thing, like, this is freaking me out, help me out with some of these missions.
I think he's going to be a bad guy, though.
O'Brien?
I think
O'Brien's going to be fine. I think he'll be a good guy.
You think he'll be a good guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because I'm just getting the vibe that he's like maybe a little too nice or too squeamish. We'll see, though.
I just feel like he's such a real person in a hard situation in that Nero part.
Well, he's protected because he lives on a base where he doesn't have to worry about freakers or anything like that.
But he has to worry about the Nero personnel. Like, he is fearful of them.
He is fearful of that.
To the extent. But I really like it because the second time you meet O'Brien, again, real emotions. You're not continually catered to as the protagonist, and it made me feel like the other characters are people, not NPCs. And it's where you're talking about, like, Deacon just goes in there and he's like, listen, mother chucker, my wife was in there and you're gonna cater to everything that I want, and my gun's in your face and I'm gonna kill you. And he's just like, do it. He's like, I saved your wife, asshole. He's like, not the other way around. He's like, he's like, and you're putting this gun in my face? He's like, I did everything. I put my life at risk. And I freaking love that.
Yeah, because Deacon looks like an asshole there. Like,
big time asshole all the time. And just selfish asshole. But they really punch it to him. They really make his ignorant ass realize that these are all people too. And I feel like it was intentional. I feel like it was written that way, and it does soften him to a point. Even though after every encounter, he's like, freaking O'Brien making me, you know, he's like always got that shit to say at the end, you know, like a salty little asshole. But I really enjoyed that interaction, that second interaction with O'Brien where he is just like morally ripping your ass a new one. And again, just another moment where it's just like, yeah, nobody's catering to me. Nobody's making me feel like I am Geralt, you know, like even to a point, people cater to Geralt, and doesn't matter what else is going on in the world. Like most of the time, Geralt's shit is the most important. Whereas this, you're just a dude living your life in this world where Iron Mike has his own life and he's living it the way he lives it. And it's going on, and it doesn't feel like it just ends when you leave.
I feel like it
feels like he's still got shit going on.
I feel like there is some respect missing for a Deacon after certain points where I'm like, if your trust level's 3 in the camp, like you should be pretty much worshipped because you did so much for that camp.
Oh yeah.
There's times where I'm like,
he brought in meat for the camp. Oh yeah,
and you like do get worshipped, but then like the leaders are like, you didn't do anything for me.
Yeah,
as they're eating a steak.
Like if case in point, this is like because we're making this a 2-parter. We're making this point the halfway part is. You get to a point after the flood and after everything, you want to continue chasing down Sarah, and Iron Mike basically tells you, you go over there, you better not come back.
Yep.
And it's like, how is that? You literally started a war with the Rippers and got forgiveness of all of that shit, but you're going to go find this, you know, follow this Nero thing, and you're just like done. He's just like, nope, never come back. And on the ride out there, he's like, we could use you. And he's like, but I got to do this. And he's like, and I get it.
Yeah. It's
still like all of the shit weird. You did for him. And
that's where I don't
understand.
I think the story and there's some a little bit of holes in the writing, just a little bit come into play. I just don't think they add up to me. But that's just how I view the world. It could be just maybe that's how the writers or other people view it. I just don't. You did so much. That's like, yeah, you're gonna continue to do a lot. Whenever you interact with our camp, we gain so much from it. So why would we don't care that you're a drifter or not? Like, I don't. That's why like the other camps don't care as much. They're trying to get you.
Copeland, he sends out a radio message. If anyone's working with Nero, and this is when you're working with O'Brien and you're working with Nero, we'll kill your ass on sight. That's like we'll hang your ass. It's like. You're in the end of the world, and that's where I get Iron Mike's thing, where he's just like, everyone should be working together. Yeah. But why does he have such an opinion of Nero? If you go follow that, you're just cut off.
That I agree with.
He's going to work with the Rippers, but not Nero?
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
F you, Iron Mike. I disagree with you on a lot of levels.
But in the end, like, the Nero sites were cool. Getting the injections, be able to upgrade your health. All that, you know, essentially getting steroids. I thought I actually really like finding neurocytes. Like,
now that my focus is maxed, which is so crazy you don't use that shit. Ugh, so crazy. Now that my focus is maxed, it is nice, but I'm like rarely hitting up neurocytes. Now that they're all unlocked in the new area, I'm like less and less inclined to get them because who needs health?
I get that. Oh my gosh, I get that. But it's just it's nice, especially in the beginning areas. I really liked it because you get that nice little bump up, which is nice. The micro quarters, great story unlocking, and it's just kind of it does get a little annoying with the like gotta always find the gas to open it up. I'm like, okay, there comes a point where like just let me find it.
Cut the speaker, hit the one that's like up there, shoot it a couple of times.
And I did not do that at the sawmill.
Oh yeah,
I got all of them, but there's 2 that I didn't realize were out there that were kind of hidden and. That caused me a lot of pain.
Dude, that's freaking shithole. I can't wait to fully clear that thing out.
Oh, me neither. Oh, I get that's fun. I do love clearing hordes, and hordes are so cool looking because they're so massive. It's that whole thing of like, not too many games do this well, and they really do they're swarmers.
Yeah.
Like, they really swarm. It's awesome.
I like the different variants. I like the swarmers, the I want to call them neckers, but oh my gosh, what are they? Holy hell, they're not neckers.
The newts?
They got newts, holy shit.
The newts, the baby.
Yeah,
the baby
newts.
zombies.
The breakers are badass. The runners are pretty stupid. I find those very annoying that they can just speed the shit up and catch you on your bike. That's very annoying. The breakers are cool, especially now that I can kill them in like no time flat. Zombie bears are nuts. The screamers remind me a lot of the witches from Left 4 Dead, obviously.
Oh, yeah. I noticed. I was like, this is... takes, it's like, not a zombie, but, zombie.
Yeah, and it sucks when she brings a horde down. Ugh. But most of the time, it's just a little swarm or something.
And I did like that. I feel like some of the specials you don't actually see too much, but I'm only halfway through the game, I'm assuming. Or 2/3. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see at the end. But yeah. So good.
I'm excited to see what happens with this whole general situation, this militia that you're a part of. I'm pretty far into that. I feel like I'm very close to the end, but I did not beat it, which is heavily why we're doing number 2. But it's also because literally I could talk about this game forever. I love the stories. I love everything about this game. The only regret that I have is not picking it up day one, man. It is one of the games that I paid off on announcement day. Like they announced the game. I went to GameStop, gave them all my money, and they're looking at me like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Yeah, it's fine. 2 years, 3 years, who gives a shit? I'll be here." But it's my one regret. I've never loved a game like this. I'll say it right now. This is number 1 right now. Number 1 favorite game ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's number
awesome.
1.
That's awesome.
It's number 1.
It's always great to find new games nowadays. It's just like trumps a bunch of the old stuff that you had, or trumps all. I haven't found anything that trumps just ads, usually like Half-Lives and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'll platinum this game. And New Game Plus this game. I will play this game a lot. I love this game. It's like my new Resident Evil 4.
Funny story with the, picking it up day one. I didn't, but 2 months later, I waited until it was used and like $20 cheaper because there were so many trade-ins. Because there's just there's some weird stuff going around, and I don't remember it back then, but like I got it for 10 to 20 cheaper.
That's pretty good. I got it for free off PlayStation Plus.
I know, and the thing is,
I'm gonna buy it for my son's friend because he really wants it, and he didn't get the opportunity to get it on PlayStation Plus. And I decided, because of all the drama that came out with this, the development and the people requesting, because this is a sleeper game for sure. This is a sleeper for me. Even when it came out, I was in the height of my I hate games, and so it didn't even draw me in. But there was that developer drama where they talked about it, and one developer handled it pretty good, and one of them was just like, if you wanted it too, you should have paid for the effing game. I kind of agree with that, and how much I love this game. I planned on buying it. Yeah. But now I get to buy it in a way that I don't have 2 copies of the game, because I'll always have PlayStation Plus as long as it's around. So, yeah, that's how I'm going to pay it forward to those devs. Gosh darn it. Incredible game.
I'm sorry, devs. I still consider them zombies. They say they're not zombies. I get it.
They get very adamant against that, but they're a subtype. They're a subspecies.
For me, there's just like zombies nowadays is just kind of like what a humanoid that pretty much doesn't have any control over their body except for maybe base instincts, and this is very much a base instincts. They're essentially animals in this,
but they're getting they're more than zombies because they have needs. They shit. I agree. I think they reproduce.
They're animals.
Yeah,
I consider them
smart though, because you got those newts that have the backpacks that steal from you. Have you seen a dolphin
like pickpocket or anything like that, man?
Hey, I'm just saying they're coming around. They're coming around. But where was I going with this?
Well,
they eat, they piss, they shit, they drink, they hibernate, they sleep.
They migrate. So they kind of migrate, don't they?
They do migrate, and they are animals, but I think they're getting to a point of sentient. Because some of them dick around. Like some of them I found hiding in bushes and shit.
True.
And I feel like that's intentional. Like they're hiding there because they're learning. But who knows? I'm not at the end of the game.
I agree.
But I will say they are zombies.
Right now they're zombies.
They're basically zombies.
Right now they're zombies. Once they get more sentient, then I'll consider them something else. And they've morphed.
Even if they get more sentient, they're still zombies to me. Okay. Just like the Last of Us mushroom people are zombies. Even though they're not. They're fungal types, but whatever. That's a zombie. Like, when you get to that point, you're basically in a class. Like, it used to be zombie was like its thing. Like you were a zombie or a werewolf or a thing. Now zombie is a slice of the monster pie where a lot of shit can fit into that term now. And
that's fine.
You're kind of there, but
it's not bad. That's just how we classify things, and I think that's just how we have to do it because you've morphed what a zombie is, and that's great. That's good storytelling, I think. So.
And I tried to tell my son that, and you know what he keeps calling them? Zombie bombies. So they're zombies, man. So they will be forever. But they're freakers, and I'll give you that.
To wrap up that, like, buying the game, I bought it a couple months later. Never played it until this year. That's the thing. I bought it, and I'm like, I'm going to get this because I love zombies. I just, for the life of me, did not pick it up.
You guys can go back in the news. Like, I even claimed it when it was free and didn't play it up until we decided to play it for the game book club. Well, I played it a little bit here or there.
Well.
But not a lot. And it's a sleeper. I can't recommend, if you haven't played it and you're listening to this, go play it.
Yes.
Go pay for it. Whatever you got to do, buy it. Get through the first little bit because the first little bit is a little slowish to figure everything out.
Yeah, it really is.
And then it's awesome. It is the perfect game. A little bit of issues with like me wanting to get through mission stories, you know, like walk faster, the companion shit.
Yeah.
That stuff, annoying, but I was more annoyed because I was trying to beat the game before the book club ended and just didn't happen. So that's more of where that frustration lies. Other than that, I would have loved the game because all of it, even those slow-ass story missions with Sarah, very important if you really want to just feel it all. If you want to feel it all, you can't skip.
So, it's an amazing game. Really love it. It is a sleeper. I definitely think it just didn't get enough love in the beginning. I really think it was an issue in the industry or something. Because, you know, reviews, man, people... I don't know how they didn't like this game more.
A biker zombie game. I get it. I get people's hesitancy.
I can see why some people don't. But I'm not a biker.
Well, it's a new IP. But when did you play it?
This year.
You might have been enjoying it, but you didn't play it day one.
No, I did not play it day one. It looked awesome.
I didn't play it day one. I'm a biker.
Part of the reason I didn't play it day one is because the stuff I read about it.
It was just, I think people were hesitant and it just kind of slept. I think not too many people heard enough good things, and then I think that PlayStation Plus really lit it off, and I'm hoping for a number 2 because I love it.
Came out for the PC at the same time. They both,
and it hit hot.
It was PC. Free and then PC at the same time almost, and that's really just kicked it off. And so I'm glad that they did. This has been an awesome one. Part 2 is going to be coming out in the next few weeks, so you'll have some time. If you haven't picked up the game or if you're still struggling, you're gonna have a little bit more lenience. And for I believe October, we haven't fully figured out the game yet, but we're gonna make something I think that's a little shorter because we're still chugging away at the good old Days Gone hog.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna stop until I beat it, but I love the game so much. I drive everywhere.
So I think in the next episode we'll announce the Game Club game of the month, and it's going to be something a little shorter, probably horror-ish because, you know, Halloween time. So be prepared for that.
I'm kind of thinking Dead by Daylight, man.
It could be that.
Get ready for Dead by Daylight. Possibly. We'll see.
So,
but the part 2 is going to be coming out soon, not as a book club release, but something along our free play or just in one of those weeks where we don't release anything, we'll drop that part 2.
Yes, exactly. So
Lake of Lost Lake into the militia, so to the end. Militia to end.
Unless we get, this is actually a 100-hour game. So
no, it'll be beat.
Okay, this has been a great episode. We have so much more to cover next time. Thank you guys for watching, listening, whatever. Make sure to subscribe, follow, do all the stuff. And if you want any cool swag, I want to do an update soon, but there's still awesome stuff at shop.bunnystrike.com. And this has been the Bunny Strike, not the Bunny Strike. This has been the Games Revealed podcast brought to you by Bunny Strike Studios. And this is James.
And I'm Tyson, Diamond Hands Tyson. Get gone.
Later, guys.
Peace.